My One-Hit Kill Sister is an adaptation of a novel written by Kono and is animated by Gecko. This series is centered around a teenager named Asahi Ikusaba and his older sister Maya as they begin living in another world after his spirit is transported there upon saving a little girl one day. Stricken with grief by Asahi's condition, Maya finds a way to join her little brother when she realizes that he's no longer in their world. Shortly after his arrival there, Asahi becomes an adventurer and starts taking on quests. Since he's too weak to defeat the monsters he often encounters while tackling these jobs, Asahi has to rely on his sister's tremendous power to vanquish these creatures for him. One day Maya kills some orcs that attack the village, which the people there mistakenly give her brother credit for. Thanks to his sister's accomplishments, Asahi's adventure rank increases and he becomes well known very quickly. However, since falsifying your rank by pretending to be strong is a crime punishable by death, Asahi must fool others into believing he's powerful through Maya's assistance. The unusual brother-sister dynamic at the heart of this show provides a fresh take on a typical isekai formula that's fun but also kinda weird. Instead of Asahi being another overpowered protagonist surrounded by women that respect and adore him, he's powerless and totally reliant on Maya, who's got an unhealthy obsession with her little brother. Although the interactions between the siblings can be quite funny at times, Maya's creepy behavior toward Asahi could be enough to turn some people away from this series. If there was one thing I could change about this anime, it would have to be their relation to one another. Instead of being his sister, she could have been a close childhood friend that he has always had to depend on or something. I don't think much of the absurdity present in the humorous moments between them would be lost if they weren't siblings. I'm not sure how important their familial bond will be to the story, so I can't say for certain whether a hypothetical change like this wouldn't have a negative impact on the narrative. Anyway, aside from her connection to Asahi, I actually liked how Kono has written the characters so far. Maya has good intuition, but unfortunately is also impulsive and a bit overprotective of her brother. As for Asahi, I thought he was fine outside of his behavior when he first arrives in the other world, in which he starts speaking his thoughts out loud and talking to himself. In the beginning, he's excited to be in a game-like world, given that he's a fan of RPGs, but soon finds out that he's incredibly weak, especially compared to his sister, who can usually one-shot any enemy they come across. Something that I appreciate about this character is the fact that he doesn't want to rely on his sister all the time and tries to get stronger. That said, there are a few humorous moments that show off how useless his starter ability is when he comes across strong creatures. Kono's comedic writing has been solid so far. Some of the humor comes from the absurdity of Maya's inappropriate behavior towards her brother and his reaction in these situations. For example, there's a scene where Asahi asks to check her stats, so she puts his hands on her breasts and proceeds to tell him their proportions. In another scene, Maya grabs his butt while commenting that it gets her worked up. Asahi's reaction to this was pretty funny. While not as amusing, Maya's scenes with Kill Miara, one of the 6 generals of the demon army, were moderately entertaining. She mistakenly believes Kilmario wants to have her way with Asahi, but in reality all she wants is to fight someone strong like her. Generally speaking, the comical dialogue is mostly effective, and so far the studio has executed the comedic moments pretty well. What has most impressed me so far about this series is the quality of its production, given that this is Gecko's first anime adaptation. They've managed to create a show with a better presentation than some studios with multiple projects under their belt. I like this show's art style and the animation is much better than I expected it to be. It's not amazing or anything, but it's pretty good. Most of the action scenes look great, and part of the reason why is Gecko's frequent use of impact frames to convey the power of certain attacks. The opening scene of the premiere with Maya killing the orcs that were attacking a village is currently the best looking action sequence in the series. Maya's fight with Kilmario was cool too, but not as visually impressive. Unfortunately, the few short action sequences in the 3rd episode were a step down from what we've gotten so far. The studio tends to zoom out with the camera for dramatic effect during certain scenes, and they brought a cinematic feel to the opening sequence of the premiere by adding black bars to the top and bottom of the screen. Gecko has done an excellent job with this show's ending sequence, which perfectly depicts the anguish Maya felt while not being with Asahi. I like how they zoom out into other scenes on beat to the song. Their use of color to convey her feelings of loneliness and despair is a nice touch. At certain points, Maya and the world around her are mostly shown in black and white. Conversely, the world that Asahi has been transported to is lively and full of color. I believe this contrast is meant to convey the idea that Asahi brings joy to her life. Supporting this idea is the part of the sequence where she leaps into the other world and is then shown in color. He means the world to her, which is why, to emphasize this, Asahi and what I assume is his uniform jacket are fully colored unlike the rest of the area surrounding Maya. Without him, her life is drab, hence the severe lack of color. Another noteworthy thing besides their usage of color is the way they handle the small glimpses of Asahi and Maya's childhood. These scenes are shown in an old school 4:3 aspect ratio, which I think is pretty fitting. Overall, this was a well constructed ending sequence with great music accompanying the visuals. I love the part at the end when they start dancing together and then posing. Wouldn't surprise me if those poses were a JoJo reference. As it stands, My One Hit Kill Sister is an enjoyable, lighthearted isekai series with well animated action scenes and solid writing. Based on what I've seen so far, I'm not expecting a lot out of the story or the characters, but I'll be glad if it's on par with the author's humor. If you've seen this anime, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.